Hello. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Donald. Good morning, Sterling. Sterling putting in Jefferson's comments, who has been speaking. So, what's on tap for today? I got back from my appointment, I looked at the market, and there was nothing really to cover yesterday afternoon. So we didn't need to waste anybody's time. Super low volume also yesterday. Wow. Wow. It looks like everything is waiting for CPI Wednesday. So, yeah, I saw that. Jefferson saying the banking system is sound and resilient. It's almost like thou protestest too much. They keep saying this. Good morning, Jacob. Hey, William. Uh, so, where do we sit? What else do we have going on? We had the NFIB Business Optimism Index coming in slightly below forecast and consensus this morning. Jefferson is speaking actually now. We have Williams speaking around lunchtime. So we have the Investors Business Daily Economic Optimism Index, very minor number at 9 a.m. But there's not a lot going on unless Williams says something that's really shakes it up. And then tomorrow, remember, we have CPI, Thursday, PPI. So that's what we're looking at. A little pullback today besides Google, up a little bit. PayPal after earnings yesterday afternoon getting crushed. So PayPal not doing so hot after their earnings. Boeing up on plane order announcements. What else do we got going on? But sort of a mix to down morning. You see industrials, real estate are up slightly. And then pretty much most other things are down or neutral to down. Technology, energy, consumer cyclical leading it down this morning. Fed watch for June 14th. Actually, this is bumping up a little more, so we'll have to see how this reacts after the CPI number up to close to 18% for a rate hike. I think the CPI number would have to come in super hot for this to really get traction. So we shall find out tomorrow. Fear and greed. So let me just double check. Still in greed mode. We are also still trading at neutral gamma, 4140. 4140, we're 31, 4136 right now. Same stuff pretty much holds. I can't get overly bearish, so we start dropping below 4100 and more bullish until we get above 4150. And any move above this area we're at now takes us into positive gamma, so you have dealers selling besides the 0-date expiration options. What do we have? We had Nikola this morning with earnings, Fisker, but nothing really major. Airbnb after Rivian. There's just not a lot today. Now, tomorrow gets a little more interesting, especially with Disney after the close. Still have a lot of companies reporting, as I said before this week, but not a lot of stuff will shatter the market. Or either way, will make the market just rally, or just dive. So that's where we sit. That's where we sit. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, Anissa. Where else? Hey, Chris. Hey, Pep. Good morning, Options 22. Dollar is pumping. Good morning, Royal Palms. So, again, here's what I'm keeping an eye on. I've talked about it before, but look at the volume. Again, yesterday, slight up close, but this volume was miserable. So going to see if the volume, but I'm expecting another lower volume day. And would advise, unless you have some strong signals, not to get chopped up. There is some pretty key support, and we're trading at yesterday's lows. There's still some pretty key support at 4117 if we do drop. But again, until we get really below 4100, it would just be minor bearish for me unless we have major momentum to the downside with weak internals. Or I'm also being cautious to the upside unless we have really strong momentum to the upside. We get those momentum bars. But that would at least, I need to get above this 4150, 4155 area, until I'm really looking for a bull case. So anywhere between these two lines, and even this bottom line is a little high, but I'll perk up below 4116 if we start dropping that to the downside, and then I target 4100, which is where the 50 exponential, and you see where the harmonics line up really nice with the key resistance and support levels. So beyond that, what do you have in here? You do have a little clear path. So again, if we had really weak internals and we started to break 4127, which I'm keeping an eye on. I don't normally focus on highs and lows as much, but this was a pretty key pivot low from Friday. So we break below 4134, I'd be using 4127 and then that 4117 as levels. And see, even to the downside, there's just a lot of stopping points, especially this 4117 and then that 4100. So making it challenging going into the CPI number with a lot of stopping points, a little dicey from my perspective. On any rally into the open, 41.45, then that 41.50 to 41.55. Again, above, it starts getting a little clearer above 41.59 based off these shorter term charts. You see that was some key resistance yesterday and into there. Then you get a clear path move to about 41.77. NASDAQ, also from the NASDAQ, the volume yesterday, you see lower than the sell days. Lower than the sell days, even lower than the Friday. Up against key resistance. So, up against key resistance, but let's see what we can find out here. There's this, again, same levels from yesterday. 13,257, 13,260. Now below there, you get into a clear path move. However, breakout level 13,250. So, trading into some stopping points. Now below about 13,247 does get interesting, and then I would look more to the bearish case for 13 all the way back down to 13,160 into the clear path move. To the upside, your breakdown area 13.3. And then you got about a sort of a pretty decent area to trade into, 13,330 to 13,340. But you're heading above there into a major topping resistance area. You can see up there, we've tested this area early April, early May, and Friday and yesterday. So that's where I am being cautious. Yeah, Beyond Meat. I don't think so. I like the hue. That's the same thing I said yesterday. Beyond Meat will, what, the fake meat can move the market. What is this? So now this loony administration and its goals to eliminate oil and gas by 2035. It's just nuts. Hey, PMG. So, all right, let's see where we sit. The Dow. The Dow just had this on still from yesterday. We did have this little double that came down and spiked down, but that's over. The one in the S&P was confirmed but not triggered and then invalidated without ever triggering. That's why it was not off the chart. Trading against pretty key support earlier. So I can look to the bearish side below 33,540. But let's take a look at the next legs down. 33,540, then 33,440. And then it does get a little interesting. You see, so far we've stalled out from the down move. We've bounced into this key 50 to 62.5, where we rolled over yesterday. Also, I haven't mentioned it because people are tired of me mentioning it, but still, weekly cycles headed down, so we have downwards pressure for the next few weeks. Russell, the only thing is I will be watching to see on a short-term shift if we did close above the rotation zone. You see break lower, rotation zone, no close above it, rotating down, starting the rotation down again. The support level that not necessarily for today, but the overall major one I'm watching is 1737. And then I will focus on right about 1723. Resistance on any rally 1761, same levels before, then 1770 on a key closing basis. The VIX still caught in this lower range. There was that double bottom, but yesterday's close invalidated that. The notes were virtually complete on the little mini double top pattern, and now there's not much going on to CPI. If it does fall, the next target would be 114.24, but we're overall in a huge consolidation pattern. Huge. Forgot the DAX here. The DAX, again, can't get above this key resistance, 16,060. So now I'm watching on any breakdown play a retest of the rotation zone again. 15,880 to 15,9. Dollar index still in consolidation. Still watching for a potential. Remember, the double bottom turned into a triple bottom, but still in consolidation. We start moving on up. I'm focused on this 101.80 area. And then if we did get above, not today, but 101.95 to 102, we could be putting in a substantial bottoming formation, but we'll have to see. Other than that, it's still in consolidation. This is in trail mode from the percent beat buy. Remember, I was watching 73.59, 73.60. The high yesterday was 73.69, the 50%, where it stalled out. So I'm watching for, this is in a trailing situation from my perspective now. Any pop-up would just be 74.30. Just seeing how well this holds up here with the cycles getting back to the top on the daily. But there is looking for some topping pattern, but this is just a channeling flag pattern pullback, pause. That's why I'm still watching for just a trailing. So if it breaks down really below this 72, that's, from my perspective, a pretty good level to take from a trailing perspective. We break out above this 72, roughly about 72.90 to 73. Then we'll watch for a topping area back at this yesterday's highs to the 74.30. Nothing in natty gas. Gold, nothing. Yesterday was super quiet. Today's super quiet. Let's see with CPI tomorrow if that brings about anything. The yen just still holding the key support at 134.80 on a push higher. On a push higher, I will just use the minor harmonics and be watching 135.63 as the first target, then 136.17, 136.20 area, because we do have a little advanced clear path up here. Euro finally breaking down. Next key area for breakdown target 109.20, and then we could see this 108.90 to 108.80 area for a key breakdown target. Finally rolling over there. The pound coming back just into the rotation zone. 125.20 is the key support. We'll get to the spiders and Qs in 1 second. We still do have this. This was not invalidated technically. It's just turned into a horrible sloppy pattern, but I'll still use these as targets to the downside if it does break really below about 26,650. Tesla still just waiting for the next rollover play. It's got to get below 166 at least, and then 159 to the downside. To the upside, 177.60. And all this is just short-term crap trading. Waiting for the rollover play. The spiders, we're trading 411.21 right now, which is virtually yesterday's lows. On any rally, we're looking at 412.74 is your key target area. On any rally. Before that, if you're looking for micro targets, 411.85. And then that closing area to the downside. I would utilize 408.95 to 409, but I'm not expecting that much movement today unless we get really weak internals. So on a closer perspective, 410.25 would be the level I'd utilize. Then it's that 409 there. Then you have that gap fill. So tomorrow, if we do roll over and break down, I'd really be watching for that gap fill. But still the same comments. I'd be watching the S&P because as long as that S&P is caught in that range I outlined before, wouldn't get overly aggressive to the upside or downside. The Qs, 321.86. 321.86. So the targets I would utilize for here, 322.42 on any short bull run into the open. And then I would target the prior yesterday's close, 323.69. To the downside, 321.32 is your minor support, first minor support, which is yesterday's low. And then you got about 321.60. which is a key support level from yesterday, and this is a little potential double top. So it is valid. You get at least a 1 hour close below 321.32. I'd start targeting the bigger pullbacks. 320, 319.50, 318.90, roughly. But it would need a 1 hour close below 321.32. So there's your bearish case on the Qs. So EWZ. I haven't looked at this one in a while. In a long while. For me, long setup on a weekly, I would need a move back above 30 before it would get interesting for me. This is not a double because of this rotation, then this rotation. So I'd need a move above there. There's a fair amount of overhead resistance in there. What else? Did Sterling put in something earlier? What did you put in, Sterling? I missed it. Now I can't. Frog. Interesting little pattern there. I'm trusting you that that is a valid potential double. I'd only be looking at that on the weekly basis, so it hasn't triggered yet on the weekly. Did it trigger on the daily? Yeah. No, it didn't trigger on the daily. Yeah, yes, it did. Yes, I was looking at Friday. Yep. So that's where Frog sits. I would not ignore this 23.15 level if you're looking at Frog. What else do we have? There we go. Can we take a look at CF? CF turned into now a 1-2 triple bottom. Is it still double is still technically valid? it needs a weekly close. So the double would only be on a weekly close basis now, but looks like it's trying to break key support. Your minor levels, this is where it's really nice to use the reverse harmonics. Your minor level, look, we have the prior support, so that would be 65.27 to about 65.60. And then below that, you don't have anything till really 61.50. Thanks, Sterling. That's no longer. Never. A look at, they're trying to get into the S&P 500. Is there a fantastic pattern? Not really. I'd get interested from the bullish side above $9. Above $9, and then with a follow-through close above the 62.5 at 950, then I'd get interested from the bullish side. Other than that, not much. You break back below 730 area, we could see a run to retest the lows if that doesn't work out, getting into the S&P 500. But would I be risking it now with this pretty weak support? No. I want to see the strength above the 50 in this breakout level before I do anything from the bullish side. All right, with that, let's just peek back at the S&P going into the open. Going into the open. So going in the open, 41.40 is resistance, 41.34 is support. And again, if you're looking for a micro level, 41.31, and then you have 41.27. You start breaking below that, you got the clear path move. With that, I will talk to everyone. Should be normal after the close today. So everyone have a wonderful trading day. Bye. Oh, can I go do Oxy? Sure. I didn't see that. OXY. For Lauren. Yep, earnings tonight. Occidental Petroleum. I mean, if this does gap down, you just have major support, this 54 to about 56 area. So if they do earnings or come into here, I'd be watching for some short-term bottoming pattern in here. To the upside, do you have a little mini double? Yes, you do. So I'm just going to put it on the aggressive targets. But that's the thing to the upside. On a close above 61.14, you got 62.57, 63.29, 64.01. So gap down play, I'd be watching for the key support in here. I would not front run this pattern unless you have some insight or gambling tendency into earnings, but that's the bullish case, which could then theoretically take it back to the area of the 200. So there you go for Occidental Petroleum. Hey, you're welcome, Todd. Everyone, again, have a fantastic trading day. I will see everyone after the close. Bye for now.